Hello guys, the coin once again here. So I decided to hop on because I'm starting to see some discrepancies on what is actually going on with Bitcoin and the stock market. So the stock market is actually rising, actually stagnant at around 9,458 right now, while the futures market has actually crashed a lot. So one of the two things is happening. So unless Bitcoin is decoupling from the stock market, it's a delayed action that has happened before. The stock market makes a move and then Bitcoin catches up, or we are talking about a decoupling event because all of the futures market, they're all going down. So that was Dr. Jones. This is the S&P 500 futures market. So this is the Nasdaq futures, and like we can see in here, it only now it looks like BTC is dropping a little bit, but nothing too significant. So let's stay on this a little bit to see what's happening. But yeah, I'm actually quite surprised for the stock market to start to crash down, and Bitcoin is actually doing quite well because until this dump here, this dump coincides very well with the stock market dump. But yeah, it looks like maybe Bitcoin is going to catch up now. If that is the case, then it should go back to around 9,238. So let's see if that is the case. Checking up the volume, there's not much volume going on. Let me just hop into the Twitter feed to check the whales alert to see if there is any USDT being printed, but still actually quite surprising. Like I said, unless there is a decoupling going on right now from Bitcoin and cryptocurrency from the stock market, it's not making much sense to me. Or it could be once again a delayed response that happens sometimes as well. So whale alert. Let me check if there's any information out here. So it looks like 20 million USDC have been transferred to an unknown wallet. Another 20 USDC have been minted in the treasury. Another 10 million. So the first 20 was made about 1 hour ago. The other 20 million were made in 1 hour ago as well. The other 10 million were made 5 hours ago. We had another 10 million USDC printed 5 hours ago. Another 5 million BUSD. Another 10 million Tether 8 hours ago. 16 million Tether 8 hours ago. 10 million 8 hours ago. Another 7 million about 8 hours ago. 5.499 BUSD printed 13 hours ago. A whopping 100 million USDT were minted 13 hours ago. Another 10 million USDT printed 18 hours ago. another 10 million USDC that was made yesterday. So a lot of stable coins have been minted. So maybe it's all been used up because that was actually a lot of USDT. 100 million minted, man. 100 million USDT minted. So maybe it was actually responsible for the pump because, like I said, I really can't explain this right now, as once again we can go to the futures market, YM1, or they're trying to hold the cryptocurrency, but the cryptocurrency market. But yeah, like we can see here, the futures market actually dumped. It actually dumped even harder than the recovery that was actually going on with BTC. So, like I said, this could be a whale play as well. It looks like it. Maybe some whales are trying to prop up the price, but you know, there was a lot of USDT pumped, or they're just pumping the altcoin market as well. So this is actually not making much. Well, we can see that the biggest volume was on this dump here, and trying to recover it. So if this is a whale play, maybe they already spent all their tether and all their stable coins in here, because like I said, it's not making much sense that Bitcoin is up, and like I said, unless there is a decoupling going on or some whales are at play here at the moment. So let me check out the coin market cap to see what is actually pumping here. So Swissborg is still up, Unibride, DV, Sealing, Nano, Wex, Energy, Cardano, BitShares, ABBC, Komodo, Icon, Algorand, Steam, AVE, NEM, Chainlink, Tezos. Well, the biggest gainers are still Swissborg, Unibride, DV, Sealing, Nano. The rest is making about 7% in gains. So not much volume coming in anyways, at least in part of Coinbase. Let me see what's going on with Binance. I'm not seeing much volume here as well. I don't know, it looks like a little bit of manipulation, especially taking a look at how much stable coins were actually minted today. Man, really was a lot. But like I said, they could have already spent it to bring Bitcoin back to the 9,440 level, because it was actually going down. It went below or at $9,237. So I think something weird is going on here. Let me check out the data, other blockchain data here. So the miners' revenue, let's see how it is, if it's still unchanged. I believe it is. So recovered a little bit, but nothing newsworthy. The total hash rate total hash rate is still continuing to go down. So the network difficulty is fixed. It is a little bit above, or it rose a little bit, which is actually bad news for the Bitcoin miners. So yep, I don't see much going on here. So if this is just a whale play, Bitcoin could actually start to crash pretty much any minute, because like I said, there are delays. I saw that the futures market generally make the move first, and sometimes Bitcoin catches up, but we start to see that the Dow Jones futures market is actually trying to recover, but doesn't look like it. It actually dumped even further, so a little bit weird. A little bit of a weirdo situation going on right now. That BTC is actually holding quite well. FTX, there's, just like in Coinbase, it doesn't look like there's much volume, but according to the Bitcoin ticker, there seems to be a little bit of movement going on. So let me share the screen. I know that nobody is in right now. Yeah, I know that there aren't many views because of course nobody wants to hear about a bear run continuing, but the data is the data, and I have to analyze the data and point out the anomalies. So there is a little bit of volume, but nothing incredible. Let's see if I can find here a little bit of more volume. Or yeah, like I said, this dump here generated a lot of volume. So I don't know if this was the whales, trying to bring Bitcoin up. But if that is the case, I don't know, perhaps around $300 million were minted in total. So that was a lot of USDT and other stable coins, to bring the market back. But there's only so much you can print, so really not making much of a sense right now. No, because if this is a manipulation case of the exchanges here trying to hold on to the Bitcoin market, this could be a very hefty crash after this. But once again, unless there is a decoupling going on between the futures market and the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin, this might be just a little play that the whales and maybe exchanges are trying to pull. Yeah, because the stock market, the futures market is continuing to dump a little bit more. So let's see what BTC is actually going to do in the next minutes or hours, I don't know. still stabilized in there. Still not much volume coming in. I'm not detecting any major volume actually going on. But the volume that occurred after the dump, yeah, that was a lot. So there was some considerable dump, and then there was a considerable amount of money to bring the market back. So like I said, but the thing is that money only lasts for so long, even if we're talking about maybe about 300 to 400 million dollars in stable coins. So still don't know what to think about of this, but this might be just a whale play, and yeah, Bitcoin could actually crash at any minute, at least back to the levels of $9,240. I don't know, but yeah, it's not making much sense to me, at least right now. But after watching that amount of volume that was generated from that dump to $9,240, maybe that has something to do with it. Because there's really not much volume actually going on, and it's a little bit suspicious because the price going up without volume, man, that tells me something is up. And I don't believe that this is the decoupling actually going on. I believe that someone right now is trying to maintain the price at that level. And if the dump accentuates on the futures market, I believe that Bitcoin will go down with it. So let's continue our investigation. Let me share the screen here again. Maybe I am one. Looks like the futures market is actually recovering a little bit. Check here the percentages on investing. Let's see what is actually going on here. So the Dow Jones futures is down 0.93%. The S&P is down 0.84%. The Nasdaq is down 0.59% here. Yep, looks like Bitcoin is starting to accentuate. It's going down. Still not really any value. Looks like there's a little bit of a sell-off going on right now, but like I said, no real value actually coming in here. No real volume actually coming in, so. But that could actually change any moment. But that is not the case. But yeah, Bitcoin is actually going down. So let me now check what's going on with Ethereum as well. Just want to see if there was any volume as well. I believe it might have. If there was volume in the pump. Well, the reality is that in comparison to Ethereum, there wasn't really any kind of volume involved to bring Ethereum up, but like I said, like Ethereum and all other altcoins actually follow Bitcoin, or BTC. Let me just check if I can find here some more information. Let's see if there was a pump on the BTC market. Nope, not really as well. Ethereum is actually starting to go down on the BTC market, but nothing significant going on, at least that I can detect. Check here the XVG. Well, XVG looks kind of have had a little bit of a flash crash. BTC price is actually starting to give back again. So it's still in the range of this rising channel here. Nothing alarming going on, no crash. Looks like still a pullback to reach back to the flag, so to the channel. So let me once again check here what's going on. Looks like a little bit of a dump going on, nothing major, no volume still. Nothing much to report here. Currency so let's check here the FTX. FTX doesn't have any volume as well, so yeah, looks like someone maybe trying to hold on the Bitcoin market, but if that is the case, I believe they will fail miserably, because even in the stock market they only could, although they brought the stock market a lot higher, there's only such amount of money that it can throw to the market, before the inevitable comes in. So the futures market is starting to dump a little bit more. Let me just check on what is going on with BTC again. Still nothing major looking going on. Still no real volume coming in. I'm actually suspicious of all of this because it's not making much of a sense right now, because I don't see any significant volume as well to bring the market up as well. So, and I'm always worried about pumps that are actually going on in Bitcoin without any real volume behind it, because that doesn't really mean anything. Let me once again go back here to the one-day chart. If I see any increase of volume, if there is actually a kind of increase in volume here, there was a significant amount of volume, but like we can see, it's dwindling down. In comparison, there was a lot of volume bringing the price up. So when I see volume actually going down like this, this looks once again to me like a false like a false breakout. There's no real volume going on. Because in order to go to a bull market, you generally want to see this here. Price steadily increasing, but once again, there was actually more volume in this dump here. Then we have a little bit of increasing volume in here, then the volume winded down, and then there was actually more volume. Yeah, I believe that someone is trying to hold on to the price of Bitcoin above $9,400. But once again, the volume is gone again, so that is not consistency. And when the volume is not consistency, that only means that yep, it's not much to be trusted. Take a look at the weekly here. Yeah, like I said, it started to increase steadily. Yeah, here was the dump. Here was the dump with some decent volume. Then there was even a bigger dump here. Bigger dump that tried to bring Bitcoin down but didn't move that much. And then yeah, we saw a big red candle here, and then some green here trying to bring the price of Bitcoin back, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen a long while ago. Well, that was the last dump with the stock market. So looks like only now it wants to dump a little bit, but once again, no significant volume behind all this. So the futures market is still on its way down. So it's actually on the session lows. This was made on the 16th, so futures market is making session lows here. Yep, like I said, the market crash, it's coming, It cracked the ceiling. But the ceiling doesn't want to crack anymore, so it stopped the stock market to go higher. And now the mandatory dump, it has to come. It had to come. Everybody was expecting it, or some, because even after and before the pandemic that was actually going on, there were still people that actually believed that there was to be a bull market, a continuously bull market in the next 2 years, in the stock market. So I don't know, man. These people must be as surprised as anybody else, because they actually believed that this was actually possible, especially when the stock market went down right at the time that there was the COVID-19 breakout. And then it miraculously, when all of the world was shut down economically, it started to go up. Look, this is insane, man. This is complete insanity. That the stock market recovered while the whole world was in lockdown. Most of the businesses were shut down, and still the stock market recovered. In the case of Nasdaq, actually made new all-time highs. it makes zero sense, man. So the mandatory crash has to come. It's they're not going to avoid it. So the only question is, will it go even lower before the first crash actually happen? I don't believe so, man, because I think the everything bubble is going to happen, and unfortunately, it will bring everything down with it. It really is complete insanity what happened to the stock market in the middle of a pandemic and in the middle of a world shutdown. It's incredible. Incredible, guys. Only a couple of businesses were actually open. Well, the only ones that were actually making money was Amazon in regards of food, the takeaways, they were making a lot of money. Digital services were making money, but the rest, come on. Steel manufacturing, retail, they were completely shut down. So how is it possible that in the middle of a shutdown where almost every business was not doing anything, layoffs, people were working from home, and still the stock market crash did what the stock market still recovered like it did, man. That's just to see how manipulated all of this going on. So businesses are not doing anything like Disney. Disney, movies, series, everything was shut down, was halted, and yeah. But that's the world where we're living, and people have to start to understand that, this has nothing to do with reality. These bumps in the market when the market is shut down, then you start to understand the obvious of the manipulation that is going on. So yeah, Trump tried. He printed trillions and trillions of dollars, and now they're saying that the Fed is going to buy almost everything that they can, and still they're not going to resolve the problem because, the stock market hit the ceiling. It said, yeah, you want to go up again, first we have to go down. That's basically what the stock market said, because you can manipulate a market only for so long before it has to continue its natural course, because we're still talking about not much, or maybe about algorithms and the Fibonacci sequence. It still has to respect the Fibonacci sequence. It went way above it in the Nasdaq. So a market correction has to be done because this bump was not natural. So that's just what it is, guys. And still, this recovery, it recovered after this first attempt of a dump. It actually recovered quite well. So, but it will not be good enough, because you know it will not be good enough. It won't be enough. The market has to correct itself a lot from all the harm that has been doing throughout the years. Take a look at what happened to the stock market after Trump was elected. That basically started the bull run on the stock market in when was he elected, in 2000 and what was it, 16? Yeah, we can take a look at that. So yeah, so Trump was elected president. So let me just check it out. So this is 2020. Doesn't mean I'm looking for the first election. Election 2016. Exactly. But I wanted to know first. So 2016, this was when President Trump got into office his first year. What happened after the election? The stock market pumped, had a little bit of a correction here from 26,000 to 635 to 23,110. So at this time it hit all-time high. All-time high. So after this little correction, it went up again. It surpassed the all-time highs again. It had a little bit of a dump, another dump here, and then it continued up. Had a small dump, another small dump, and I guess it hit the ceiling here. And then it was full stop. The dump happened. Now we're maybe at the second part or third part, because I really don't believe this was the bottom, man, because with all the news, all the shit that is actually going on, all the businesses that weren't working, the economy is not at full force, a lot of unemployment going on worldwide. This makes zero sense, guys. That's the reason why I don't believe this is even near the bottom, because we have to understand something. This is what has been happening since February, basically, when this whole thing started to crash down. This is way worse than the Great Depression from the 1913s, man. This is way worse, guys. This is worse than 2008. And if they actually believe that, they just can rip it under the carpet, man, it's not going to fucking happen. Because even in Bitcoin, once again, the retailers moved Bitcoin. The retailers brought it to the all-time highs because everybody started to get interested. When Bitcoin was starting to make these crazy gains, everybody told their family and their grandmothers, everybody wanted to invest, and everybody invested in Bitcoin. And then the crash or the bear market came, and then these people left the market, and many people lost a lot of money, and these people are not coming back. So the only thing that we have to rely on are the stable coins pumps and the futures market, so the dividends market. And that's it. And I don't believe that it's actually good enough. And once again, with the bad economic data from the mining companies, they're not making money. So if they're not making money, they will have to shut down. If the revenue is down, businesses are suffering. So the Bitcoin mining businesses are suffering. So it makes absolutely no sense for the Bitcoin price to go up without any hash rate, with the difficulty going on, with mining equipment being delayed once again, because I guess there's a lot of stuff going on in the mining business, in the not only in the mining business, but it has directly to do with the mining business, with the mining equipment, that is starting to get in, because the problem is that everything was overinflated. The rig machines, everybody that wants or wanted to buy miners, the prices were over the roof, man. It was just incredible prices. And now if you want to buy any of them, used or new, it lost its value. So, and the problem is because it's old generation mining equipment, it won't mine what it mined before, because the problem with all this is that the mining difficulty or the network difficulty is going up. So even the newer generation mining equipment, because of the difficulty, it makes it a lot much harder. So, like I said, guys, I'm not seeing here any positive news whatsoever for the Bitcoin market because of the stock market, but because of its own economic data itself from the mining industry, which is bringing has brought Bitcoin to where it was. So that's what it is. That's what's going on, and yeah, I'm really not feeling bullish whatsoever with this, with all the environment and the economic data from the stock market and the economic data from the mining industry in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I don't see any bullish sides whatsoever for Bitcoin to go to all-time high. That you know it really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I believe, yeah, people might be trying to prop up, to bring the price up as much as they can, to bring in a lot of people and dump the market on them. Yep, like we can see here once again, no volume whatsoever going on here. There's not really much of volume coming in or out. Little spikes here and there, but nothing significant. So I believe a big move is actually coming. Something is brewing. Something is brewing. Yep. So that is what is going on in the market right now. I see nobody's watching. I don't. Once again, people don't want to listen or want to see, bearish scenarios here. Everybody is moon boy mode here, all around the crypto world. But yeah, I believe these people are actually deluding themselves because, like I said, the economic data from one side to the other, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. In the one side and the other, man. It's not there, man. I can't even see it. There is nothing with so much bad economic data from the real world and from the mining industry in regards of cryptocurrency. I'm not seeing it, man. It's just, I believe it's just delaying the inevitable, which is actually might be actually what's going on. And yeah, one thing is for sure: when the dump hits hard, then oh yeah. And I don't believe it will take much longer, guys. I really don't believe that because, like I said, the stock market already hit the ceiling in here. The Bitcoin market, I guess, yeah, maybe some whales or some exchanges, are hedging themselves or preparing to hedging themselves for the Bitcoin dump, but I don't believe that at this point there is any way they can actually avoid it. It doesn't matter how much stable coins they pump at it because it will only, like the stock market, it will work for so long, man. It only will work for so long. Because the reality is we haven't seen the panic settle in yet. I don't believe there is panic in the markets yet, but and that's basically what happened with the first flash crash in the stock market and Bitcoin. You know, the Bitcoin, the panic, the panic sells hit just certainly, and the markets just went down like crazy. And yeah, we just have to start to drop a little bit further, and as the accentuation of the drop goes on, you know, more people start to panic, and then that's where everything escalates. That's why even the stock market and Bitcoin took a little while. It took about 1 month and 15 days for it to happen, and the last 15 days were the worst. That's where the dumps actually accentuated. You know, and like I said, you know, if the stock market lost about 30% of its value, you know, Bitcoin lost 60% of its value. So these dumps are especially hard on Bitcoin. If it wasn't bad enough for the stock market, for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency world, it's even worse. So that's why it will be a shit show again, because everybody will try to exit at the same time. And yeah, that's generally how panics start. And you know, the guys that leave the last are the ones that get fucked the most. That's just the reality of this. But yep, I know that I sound a little bit too negative, but like I said, guys, if you take a look at the data, it doesn't look good. There's nothing to be optimistic about this space, about the stock market, about the economy, the real economy, the economy for average Joe. That's what I'm talking about. Because it doesn't matter, you know, if the average Joe gets impacted, the businesses and the big two fails, they will get impacted as well. They are billionaires, but like we saw in the Great Depression, man, even the billionaires lost their shirts, and many killed themselves. You know, they just throw themselves off the buildings that they were on because it was so bad. It was incredible, man. I don't think I know about it because I saw a little bit of documentaries. I read a little bit of history about it, but you know, something like that hasn't been experienced ever since, and I believe this will happen again. You know, because like I said, if the Great Depression was bad, this this is just hideous. What is about to happen to the stock market and the world economy? So I know that they want to bring a new world order, a new world government, a new world religion, a new world currency. So they will have to figure out something, but they already have a lot of that planned. So, but let's see here. So I guess I will kill the stream now because I'm basically talking to myself right now. Not much action going on besides of what is actually going on in the futures market, which started to dump a bit. Bitcoin is still holding on, although the futures market is almost at session lows. I don't believe it is yet. Let me just remove the volume here to see a little bit better. No, the futures market is still not at session lows, but in contrast, BTC is not even near the session lows. It's actually a lot higher. So I don't I don't think very goodly about this because, you know, there is no volume going on, not much volume going on. Now the volume is actually decreasing, so I think somebody is holding the price up just, you know, to dump it hard. But I guess we will have to see, so I will kill the stream now. I'm the coin, and I'm out.